Welcome everybody to another edition of WC 2005 here in TEW 2020, as we're now past, of course, Mayhem, and we're heading to Fall Brawl, as it's the month of September. Some just happened. We're back to WCW, so let's get rolling. As we start with Nitro, as the answers put over the big main event set up last week of Sean O'Hara versus Eddy Guerrero in a rematch of the Mayhem tournament of two former world champions clashing in a big main event here. Oops, and I totally forgot to set my placement, so we're in North Carolina, even though we shouldn't be. We should be in Illinois, but I just forgot to set that. Not the end of the world. Oops. Anyway, this gets 72. The youngsters then head to the ring for a big tag team match, as we have Alex Wright and Chavo Guerrero team up to take on Helms and Tomko. Of course, Wright and Chavo have begun teaming up again for over the past few weeks after Chavo talked right into it, with Jerry out with injury, and Helms and Tomko, are trying to get things back together. And this is a fun little match, as Wright and Chavo, they're still a well-oiled machine. Helms does his heel shit to try to get impact, and Tomko throws people around. But eventually what happens is Helms comes in and Wright actually hits him with a few big moves, followed with a big double team that knocks Helms out of the ring. Tomko's in, and Wright and Chavo hit a few big tag team moves, and eventually hit a double team sort of modified sunset flip powerbomb. And then Wright nails Tomko with a double arm DDT, and Helms tries to come in and interfere, but Chavo knocks him down, and Alex Wright actually gets the huge pinfall victory over Tomko here on Nitro in our opening match, as this gets a 72. Chavo gets a 73, Wright gets a 77, Tomko gets a 62, Shane Helms gets an 82, and a big win here for Wright and Chavo. And post-match, Wright and Chavo celebrate, and Chavo begins making title belt motions, as the announcers put over that Wright and Chavo have had several significant wins a row here on Nitro, and who knows what might pop up in the tag team division. 73 as they celebrate, and we move forward. And then we go backstage, where we see Leppan and Leppan Toland, of course, tag team here, as they're talking about a 6-man tag later tonight against the Hart Legacy and Matt Sydal, and that Dawn Marie said they had a partner, and Dawn Marie comes in. She looks a little flushed and maybe some buttons seen on, which is interesting. And she talks about 6-man action, and she introduced their partner for the night, Romeo. Romeo comes in, cocky, and Toland's like, "Look, kid, we know we had a rough with that idiot Toro, but you're with the sexiest man in WCW and the biggest international talent in the business. So just stand beside us and don't get in our way, and we can tag together." And Romeo just smirks and says, "Hey, whatever you say, man." And then he walks away, as they share a look at Dawn Marie, and Dawn Marie just sort of shrugs. As we got a 6-man tag later tonight. This gets a 59, as well, it is what it is. Short little promo, setting the 6-man up later tonight. And well, it's beginning of an angle. As we have a fun little tag match here, as Prince Osei and Eel Skipper get the pinfall win over, of course, the Great Suzuki and Shannon Moore, which is sure a tag team. And, this is just a quick high spots match. Shannon Moore gets a look impressive, Suzuki gets hit a few moves, but eventually Osei comes in as a heel, gets to not quite dominate, but, gets a few big moves in. Eel Skipper eventually comes in, and after a while, Moore gets, locked in and sort of 2-on-1. And then after a few minutes, boom, butterfly suplex, which I should probably call something else, but I'll get to that name later. But they pick up the win here, basically clean, some heel shenanigans, to take advantage, but nothing more that effective. As Osei and Skipper get a big win here on Nitro, as they get a 60, Skipper gets a 59, Osei gets a 58, Shannon gets a 48, and Great Suzuki gets a 66, because he's just that good, despite not really being over. And as the Faces leave the ring, Osei takes mic and says, "I am the prince of all I see, from Ghana to Gary again to here. And more importantly, what is most important is Elix and I will rule whatever division we want. Whether the Cruiserweight Championship or the tag division, we will rise to the top. And as what's in our blood, rule rightly. Because I am a prince. And all of you plebeians will just have to kneel to my rule." And you Skipper just gets to be a skip in the background, 51, fun little heel promo, as Osei and Skipper get the win here tonight. And then we cut backstage, where Bischoff, Truth is in Bischoff's office. Truth says he was to come here, and Bischoff's like, "Yeah. So, here's the deal, Truth. You were a big success in the Mayhem tournament. So, tonight, I'm naming you the new number 1 contender for the United States title, and next week, you'll get that title shot." And then we see the Chosen Few actually coming in, and basically Jarrett's like, "What the hell is going on? Slapnuts, You really think this man deserves a U.S. title shot just because he got lucky a few times at advancing in the tournament, as opposed to me, a former U.S. and world champion, or the most magnificent man in WCW, or even Devine? All this, hell, not even us. All this talent in the Nitro locker room, and you choose this guy? And Bischoff's like, look, Truth beat you, Jarrett, and Jarrett just lost last week. So who the hell do you want him to face? And Devine says, look, he's never beat me up. So I can get that ring, and I can prove to everybody, it's my time now. It's simply Johnny Devine's time to rise. And Truth is like, basically, cuts a rap, saying stuff about, chosen few, but they're both underachieving. He's going to face Mike Awesome. His heart is bold. It's, his tale to be told. Some jokes about, Jarrett the music, Jindrak, being all show, and, they're a scapegoat, blah, blah, blah. And that he's happy to face either of them tonight. And so fun little stuff, as Bischoff agrees, as it's going to be the Truth versus Simply Johnny Devine, with the Truth earning a title shot next week if he gets the win. So 87, fun stuff, continuing, the feud between these guys, and also setting up a possible US title match for for the Truth. And then, oh, right, okay, I forgot I rearranged. Okay, we just have that match after the commercial, and Truth gets the win here. Like, nothing too fancy. Like, this is, Devine is, been slowly pushed up the card, but he's still not quite at the level of the Truth, who has quickly risen up to the top of the upper mid-card, especially after getting the quarterfinals and main tournament, and the Truth just gets the win here. Like, Devine gets some offense in, some solid stuff in, but eventually Truth hits his finisher. Truth are consequences. 1, 2, 3, and your winner and getting a US title shot is the Truth. This gets an 80, which is very good. Truth gets an 82. Devine gets a 67, and as Truth celebrating, Mike Awesome music hits. He comes up to the top of the ramp, holds the US title up, points at the Truth, basically makes the throat slitting motion. As you put over next week, it's going to be the Truth versus Mike Awesome on Nitro for the United States title. This gets 73 just because it's a short little, promo, short little segment, like 1 or 2 minutes. Then we move forward. As then we cut backstage where Stacy Kiebler is with Ninkyo of Kaz and Yang, and she basically says to them, look, what happened last week doesn't matter. The corporation wants you to stay on your game. We can't let lesser talent like Evolution or that pervert Ric Flair step in our way. Our goal is to still the same. The tag team titles to rise to the top of this business, as the Ninkyo are on the top of every business they invest in. And you are their investment, and you must not fail for all of our sakes. So good promo from Stacy, continuing the new feud with the Evolution and setting things up for possibly a future tag title shot. And then cut backstage where Eddy Guerrero is there, and he says, it's time to clear the air. You see, what happened in the Mayhem tournament, everybody now thinks I have to have some answer for losing to you, where I see articles about my time at the top card being over. Hell, I see some idiots on the internet saying I should try to heal with Chavo again, or go to the Cruiserweight division, or some silliness. But here's the thing, what they don't get. This is still my ring. It was luck. Yeah, O'Hare, you're a former world champion, you're a big guy, but that's the thing. That's where it all ends, I say. Because there's a difference between being a champion and being a top-tier wrestler. Anybody can throw around and get a win. But this business has to be in your blood. And O'Hare, this is still my ring, and this is still my business. So tonight, Guerrero Family Values means I have to kick your ass and remind everybody why I'm still the best wrestler alive. Because the best isn't decided by one move, one match, or single victory. It's by decide who can dominate month after month, year after year, and that's what the Guerreros have done. So yeah, you got one over me. Everybody's been reminded why I was the biggest free agent signing for this company in years. And after tonight, nobody will deny me. So really good promo from Eddy because he's freaking Eddy Guerrero. And there we go. And then we have our fun little tag match involving our Darkness feud as the Prophet and Mesias team together as they take on the Seekers of Sin. And this is just a wild, wild match. Like, brawling, table shots, cookie paint shots, a quasi, what's wrong for a quasi-hardcore match as just referee doesn't want to get involved too much. But eventually Raven slips in, hits the DDT on Rothschild. Prophet hits a big sit-down powerbomb to pick up the pinfall victory over the Seekers of Sin as this gets a 70. Rothschild gets a 65. Killswitch gets a 78. Mesias gets a 77. Prophet gets a 51. I set this as like a mayhem, so that's probably why Killers did pretty well. Also, Prophet Mesias don't click, but hey, I'll just have to work through it. But then eventually, big match, big win for the, for the adherents of Raven. But then the fight continues. Eventually, Morgan, of course, debuted at Mayhem to help, the heels, app come in. Eventually, some fireball, some fire gets thrown by this witchy woman, and it gets thrown, at the Prophet, and there's a stare down as the officials are finally involved as this feud continues, which gets a 79. And then we go backstage where Austin Aries is in the locker room with Rickus Roberts and Tracy Roberts, his sister, and Aries says, I don't give a damn that the fans don't like you. And for once, I have to agree with the idiots. I was the future of the Cruiserweight division. And Tracy steps in and says, that's right, you were the future. I came in and helped everybody recognize my brother's actual talent, why he should be champion, and that's where he is today. And Aries fires back, no, he got lucky. And I still should be the Cruiserweight champion. I will be eventually, no matter who gets in my way. And, Reckless is ready to fight, and Tracy steps in and says, look, do you want another shot? Really? Austin's like, of course I do. Fine. Next week, face a wrestler of my choosing. If you beat him, I'll talk to Bishop and get you another shot. If you lose, though, you stay the hell out of our way. Aries agrees, and looks like we have a match involving us and Aries in a possible future title shot for him. Isaac gets a 55 as we continue the Cruiserweight feud. And then we basically have a backstage segment where, Devine is talking to Jared and Jindrak saying, sorry, Jared says, look, it happens, but we got to focus on getting a final defeat over these bastards. They've gotten in the way of the chosen few to dominate Nitro for way too long. And then in comes, of course, Brother and Gigantes. And yes, and Brother's like, yeah, we're going to keep on facing you until you realize that it's our place here and you get the hell out of this. Because Jarrett, this isn't your company anymore. It's never going to be a company. Jindrak, you're overrated. And Devine, you're a punk. I'm a fighter from the streets, and you're not going to be able to stop me or Gigantes. Eventually, there's some argument, and a tag match is made for next week. So there you go. A couple big matches. Tag match, cruiser match, the US title match. So there you go. As this gets an 84 as this feud continues. And then you have a backstage statement where, Jerry Rush is with Evolution, who is, told to respond to Ninkyo. And Flair basically says, Stacy Kiebler, deep down, the real reason you're up. Because, the Nature Boy is still a 60-minute man. And deep now, you can't deny it. Because I'm still a kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing son of a gun. Woo! But here's the thing. Ninkyo, your townhouse, Yang, Kaz, I would never say that. But I've got the future of the business beside me. And every day, they learn from the Nature Boy. And they will not be stopped. Woo! And then Claudio is in the background, and Lashley looks tough. And there you go, 65. So fun stuff. As this feud continues. Then we have the six-man match. We got Romeo, Rey, Leppan, and Toland taking on Matt Sydal and the Hart Legacy in our background way to try to get the Cruiserweights more over by teaming with, random heels, random babyfaces and heels in big matches. And this is just a wild, Hart Legacy get to beat the Hart Legacy. Sydal flies around. Romeo does some heel shtick. Leppan Toland team up to go after Sydal. Hart Legacy makes some saves. We get some dives. We get some throws. We get some double teams. We get some triple teams. And we get some breakups. But eventually, after a few minutes, Jack Evans, of course, with the crowd behind him, gets Tank Toland with the ode to Blitzkrieg, which, okay, I guess. Maybe not, whatever this actually is. But this is a awesome freaking match. I keep forgetting Evans and Hart are, that damn good. As they get the win here, it's an 88. As Toland gets a 67, Leppan gets an 82, Remo gets a 49, Evans gets a 90 freaking 5, Hart gets a 91, and Matt Sydal gets a 67. So fun stuff, and babyface celebrate as, big win. Hart Legacy are on a roll, even if Jack Evans did not win the main tournament. 71 for this little post-match segment. And then we have basically Goldberg's a big star. He's doing charity. He's hanging with other stars. He's doing out-of-the-ring stuff. That's 72. And then we have a Revolution recap focusing on Rey Jr.'s first appearance on Revolution, being the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, which gets to 73. And then it's time for our main event. And it's a brutal, brutal match. As these are two men who do not want to lose, who want to stay at the top of this business, especially Eddy, who's just like vicious right away, going after him early before the bell rings, fighting, but O'Haire powers out, fights back, of course, because he's Sean O'Haire. Big fighting, big brawling, big boot, running power slam. But O'Haire gets turned into a reverse DT from Eddy. Eddy, goes low, takes advantage, hits a, traps O'Haire in a lasso from El Paso late, but O'Haire fights out of that. Eddy actually hits the Three Amigos barely and then goes up top for a frog splash, but O'Haire gets his knees up. He pops up and tries to go for Widowmaker, but Eddy basically scratches his eye. Eddy turns that into a DDT, rolls it into a Blue Thunder Bomb for near fall. Then he hits a big brainbuster on O'Haire barely, and then he goes up top and he hits the frog splash. 1, 2. O'Haire kicks out just before 3. Eddy freaks out at the ref. O'Haire recovers. Eddy turns around, right into a big boot, power slam, Widowmaker right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Sean O'Haire has defeated Eddy Guerrero again here on Nitro, as it gets an 89, O'Haire gets a 77, Eddy gets a 94, and good stuff as we finish the show, which gets us a 90. So there you go. Good stuff. Good, big show for Nitro, as O'Haire gets the big win, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. The other thing I'm interested in now is the game is, I did set a brain split for the WF as I did on SummerSlam. So we'll see how they try to split things up for the show. I'm going to guess I'll probably have to go back in and move some stables back around so they're on the same side. But we'll just have to see what they do here as this all loads up and we get some AI hirings and all that other fun stuff. I gotta love the loading on this. You guys probably got used to this last week when it wasn't happening because I was doing it. Okay, so KW refreshed their bands. Okay, so that's interesting. Oh my god. All right, so Steve Kern, Desiree returns. Santelli made an offer. Oh my god, Jushin Liger got an offer from. Okay, I might have to step in and sign a con. Wow, that's actually a pretty big deal. That's interesting. I guess because they need more people. Anyway, Christian York's a hot property. That's interesting. So okay, first some independent wrestling from Kyoto. Tenru is still around wrestling. Fujita, yeah, interesting stuff. Independent wrestling from Iowa. Okay. But yeah, also I'll go over some other stuff that happened. So let's what happened on Raw. Okay, Raw got an 81. Oh my god. That's actually kind of interesting. Because I didn't want to screw him over this way, but this, okay, so we got Batista, Mark Henry, and Ron Waterman defeated Cody Hawk and the Outcast in an 82. Rikishi defeated Crash Holly in a 72. Big Show defeated Steve Bradley in an 81. Lumbergo defeated Viscera in an 86. DDP defeated Punk and Richards in an 82. Molly Holly defeated Jamie Keys in an 82. And of course, that actually was a bit of a follow-up. And Brock Lesnar and Christian defeated the Gals of Rouge, Vampiro, and Kane. And this got a 2.89. And Nitro itself got a 2.77, so that's interesting. We'll have to see how SummerSlam does. Not SummerSlam, but how SmackDown does. And I'll take a look at both the rosters after we go through both shows. Because I might have to do some changes on the outside just to see how they do. But yeah, I'll be back in just let's see, any other email? Yeah, okay. Let me just see what they're doing. Negotiate. Let's see here. Interesting. Oh, okay. He actually already rejected it. That's interesting. Okay. Anyway, I'll be back in a second with Revolution. And welcome everybody to Revolution, as we're in Wichita, Kansas. And we have a fun little start to the show, as out comes the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Billy Kidman, who basically says, after what happened last week, it's obvious what's going on. AJ Styles, you don't want me to have any shot to get back the World Heavyweight Championship, because I can kick your ass, and you're just waiting to take the title off of your best little buddy, Rey Mysterio Jr., with that called shot. Out comes Rey and AJ, as AJ takes the mic and says, look, I got this called shot for a reason, but it's not because I'm afraid of facing you, Billy. It's because I want to face a man of true honor like Rey Jr. in that ring, and I'll call my shot and I'll give him all the time he needs in that ring when I want my title shot, but not a moment before that. And And Billy basically says, fine. Then Rey, give me a rematch at Fall Brawl so I can end your title reign before it even really begins. Rey is about to accept when Teddy Long comes and says, no, playa, Billy Kidman, we don't work like that in WCW. Just because you're the champion doesn't mean you get the next title shot. You have to earn that title shot. But guess what, Kidman? You had the title, but you don't deserve a chance to win a title shot yet. So I want tonight is one simple thing. We're going to have a big time match to win the next number one contender of the World Heavyweight Championship. We're going to have a Revolution Royale. 15 of the top stars of Revolution battling to earn the title shot at Fall Brawl. And like Chuck Palumbo, Monty Brown, Rob Van Dam, Paul London, Keaton Sharp, Kenny Anderson, Lance Storm, but not you, Billy Kidman. Because, frankly, playa, you've been a thorn in my ass. Kidman's upset. AJ, says he'll be happy, Rey's happy to fight whoever. And we have a big main event set up for later tonight, a big 15-man battle royal for the next shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. This gets a 93, sort of like sets some seeds of maybe Rey 8, Kidman is right. Also sort of sets like Kidman is not getting the next title shot, and maybe a new feud against AJ. Who knows? We'll see. As this gets a 93, and we move forward. As we have our opening match, as the announcers go over the fact that like America's Most Wanted have been given the next title shot after defeating Lance Storm and Billy Kidman last week. So we have Matt Hardy versus James Storm. This is a babyface versus babyface match. And eventually, back and forth match. Matt Hardy looks good. James Storm also looks good. Eventually, James Storm takes control. Heads the 8-second ride in a little over 10 minutes to get the pinfall victory. Like, totally clean match. No shenanigans. Both Jeff and Chris Harris are outside, but they don't get involved. And in the end, the challengers get the big victory here on Revolution, as this gets an 80. Matt Hardy gets a 73. James Storm gets an 81. And, there's a tense tag team stare down afterwards as the AMW make belt motions. The Hardys stare them down. Eventually there's some handshakes, but the handshakes are a little tense. As you spread over, these are two of the best tag teams in the business today, and they're gonna have an awesome match at Fall Brawl for the tag team titles, which I will book right now just so I don't forget to book it. There we go. Yes, a shocking move. The only real tag team on the show get the next tag team title shot. I know. And yeah, that's something I'm going to have to fix either with some trades or maybe something else. Anyway, we move forward. As we have Monty Brown cutting a quick, basically a promo saying, I was this close to winning the called shot. And don't you forget that, AJ Styles. Now I'm focused. There's going to be 14 other men in that ring, and I don't care who's in my way, whether we've teamed together or faced together. Every one of you will feel the pounce if you're in my way, as I'm focused on one thing, winning the World Championship. Good promo from Monty Brown, gets an 86 as we move forward. And then we have a quick little promo backstage, as Celine Cartier is with Nikki Radcliffe and Annie Vidal, the social scene, as they talk about, they had a fun night last night getting ready to battle against Captivation, and they thank Celine for being their partner tonight. And, Celine basically says, no problem, always helps out other talent. And plus, she doesn't like Captivation. And, they say, Captivation just think they deserve the next title shots. They're going to give them a message tonight. So just a quick little babyface promo to set the 6-man women match up later tonight as this gets a 58. Fun stuff. And then Desiree Dawkins comes down to the ring, and she cuts a promo saying, if you don't know who I am, I'm Desiree Dawkins, and I'm the next star of the women's division. You see, Roni Jonah, Lana Vez, it's nothing personal. Yes, I took advantage of you, get up to the main roster, and I do it every single time. And yes, you're upset, but hey, nothing personal, but I still know anyone still fight me, so maybe you come down here and get your ass kicked. So there we go, and then this gets a 59 as we continue to build up Desiree Dawkins. We have Desiree Dawkins versus Lana Vez. It's a back and forth match, solid stuff. But eventually, Desiree gets the pinfall victory using underhand tactics, taking advantage, and getting the win here, like Crucifix with the tights held or something like that. But Desiree Dawkins gets the pinfall win here on Revolution, as it gets a 58, which is actually better than I expected. Desiree gets a 52, Lana Vez gets a 46, and a decent win for the heel win as she cockily celebrates as the enters put over. She's defeated both Roni Jonah and Lana Vez, and she may have bigger things to look forward to in her career. 49, solid stuff as we move forward. And then we go cut backstage where we have Booker and Shelton. Shelton and Booker saying, I'm building up this man to be the future of this business. And tonight we have a both huge opportunity. But Seka, you gotta know, if you get in my way, I will throw you out. To begin another shot at the championship, Shelton fires back. I expect nothing less, Booker, but just know, I'm going to be the gold standard here in WCW sooner than later. You know, they hug it out, and they're both looking to fight tonight in that big Revolution Royale, which gets a 79. Fun stuff. And then we get to a promo where Tori Wilson says, week after week, my man Keith Walker gets in the fighting pit and wins everybody against everybody he's put in front of. And tonight, he finally has the opportunity to truly prove how dominant he can be and prove he is the toughest man in WCW and a future world champion. So 61, decent promo from Tori Wilson with Keith Walker, as Keith Walker just looks angry in the background as we move forward with the show. And then we have Joanie Laurer coming down to the ring for the first time in months, and she just kills Roni Jonah in a little over 5 minutes. Like, you know, Roni gets a little bit of a fight in, and like maybe gets a little bit like just offense right at the start, and goes right after Joanie Laurer, and actually goes like knocks Laurer down and goes for a stage drive finisher, but Laurer rolls out of the way and takes over and just dominates Roni, throws her around, eventually gets the big power bomb and gets the pinfall victory here on Revolution. This gets a 66, Joanie gets a 77, Rona gets a 49. Joanie takes the mic and says, "It's true, I've been gone a while. But last week, I made a statement for a reason. Tricia, you have my title belt. And I'm going to prove I am the evolution of women's wrestling by taking the title belt away from you." That cues Tricia Skye to come on and says, "Oops, oh, god damn it. Okay, wow, I've done that a bit. Anyway, Tricia basically takes the mic and says, Joanie, it's true. You used to be the champion, but you're not anymore. I'm the champion. The sky's the limit here for women in WCW. And yes, you're partly the reason, but so am I. So if you want to get in that ring and face me, that's fine. But you gotta know, you're not some queen of the division rampaging over everybody. We have true challenge in this division now, and true stars like me and other women. You're not the only one that matters. This is an actual division now, and we're going to prove it. So if you want to face me at Fall Brawl, that's fine. I'll kick your ass and prove why I'm the best women's wrestler on the planet today." There you go. Match set up for Fall Brawl, which is going to be Tricia Skye versus Joanie Laurer. Now I actually forget. Have they had a one-on-one match? Okay, they way back on Revolution they had a DQ match, and then Tricia beat her at Slamboree. Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to double check. And then we have Ken Anderson backstage and says, "Now, some of you may wonder why I'm the TV champion and why I won Battle Royal. Because TV champion is not enough. I'm here to kick ass and take names. If that means getting that Battle Royal, throwing everybody out and proving why I'm the hottest star in professional wrestling now, that's fine with me. Palumbo, Monty, London, RVD, doesn't matter. I'll toss you out and I'll walk in and become TV champion and the new WCW World Champion. How you like that?" So 85, really good promo from Anderson. Again, setting the Battle Royal up. And then we have our 6-woman match, which of course is Celine Cartier team with the Social Scene take on Captivation of Lexi James, Angel Fox, and Lizzie Dumas. Of course, the undercurrent of this match is Angel Fox and Lexi James won a tag title shot against European Disunion. Eventually what happens is Nikita Colt actually comes down to the ring and comes down to the ring, with the tag titles along with Racine Busek, and that eventually distracts Angel Fox, who comes out to argue with them, and it allows the babyface to take over. Eventually, Angel's back in the ring, but there's some miscommunication. Nikita and Racine don't get eventually involved directly in the match, but it's just enough for Nikki Radcliffe to get a few big moves, and then hit a double team with Celine Cartier, and then Andy Vidal hits another big move, which allows Nikki Radcliffe to hit a rolling reverse cradle and get the huge pinfall win over Lexi James to shock the world. As babyface get the big win here on Revolution. This gets a 76. Lizzie Dumas gets a 71. Angel Fox gets a 70. Lexi James gets a 59. Celine Cartier gets a 79. Nikki Radcliffe gets a 57. And Andy Vidal gets a 63. And now everybody's unhappy. Well, the babyfaces are happy, but Nikki and Annie basically take big title vote motions at European Union. Lexi James and Angel Fox argue with European Union outside. They begin pushing at each other, and then out comes, Andy Vidal and Nikki Radcliffe to get involved, and there's about to be a fight before WC officials get involved and break things apart as the youngsters put over. It's still quite complicated here, but then as we come over a commercial, what's happened? This gets 67, by the way. It's been agreed that next week on Revolution, it's going to be a triple threat tag team match for the WCW Women's World Tag Team Championship, as European Union will defend against both Lexi James and Angel Fox of Captivation and the social sheen of Nikki Radcliffe and Annie Vidal. And this, like I said, gets 67 as we move forward. Oops, let's try that again. And then we have a Keenan Sharp promo, as Keenan Sharp says, "The path is still laid out before me. There have been bumps in the way, but those are just things that will be forgotten in the long run while everybody is following my path. Just as Alexander the Great had his losses, as did Napoleon, every great leader does not walk away with no scars. But I will win tonight and rise to the top of this business one way or another." So 80 solid promo, basically putting him back in the realm of a future world title shot. And then we actually have the Battle Royal. So, this is a fun little match. So, obviously the feuds happen. Lance Storm has some early shots either. Shelton Benjamin gets some big suplexes. Sonny Siaki and Trevor Slater are like two undercard guys who gets thrown out pretty quickly. Monty Brown gets thrown out both Slater. Siaki gets suplexed out by Shelton. Shelton and Lance Storm fight. Eventually, they actually close on each other out to this point of Billy Kidman at ringside. Paul London, RVD looks like he's actually going to get a big win as he knocks out Bro Down Chris Roxy. Booker T, though, saves Shelton from elimination. But then Keith Walker actually Jamie Noble actually gets behind Keith Walker and eliminates him, but then Paul London eliminates Keith Walker gets eliminated by Jamie Noble after he gets distracted fighting with Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam is ready for Paul London and drops him after Paul London shockingly actually gets the elimination on Shelton Benjamin. And things eventually break down to where it's the final four, as you can see, of Chuck Palumbo, Ken Anderson, Jamie Noble, and Rob Van Dam, as Monty Brown is just pouncing people out of the ring. But then eventually, he actually, it looks like Palumbo and Monty Brown are going to team up against the rest of the final four, when Palumbo actually throws Monty over the top rope to the shock of the crowd as he sort of shrugs and, points at Rey Jr. at ringside, and Brown looks upset, but he eventually goes to the back. And it's a, back and forth match. But eventually, Rob Van Dam looks like he's about to eliminate Ken Anderson when Paul London comes back down ringside and holds the top rope, helping Anderson eliminate Rob Van Dam. And then Noble goes after Anderson, but Palumbo actually works with Anderson for a bit to throw out Noble. Then it's a one-on-one, and eventually Anderson actually hits the his Kenton bomb, but Raven Rain actually holds his leg, and that allows Palumbo to recover. Big boot, full throttle, throws Ken Anderson outside, and Chuck Palumbo is your number one contender for the WCW World Championship. This gets an 85. Fun stuff. Let's see here. Anything else of note? Nope. All right. And then, Palumbo takes the mic and basically calls out Rey Jr. Rey Jr.'s at ringside, basically gets in the ring against him. And Palumbo says, "Rey, it was a big accomplishment finally becoming WCW World Champion. And I can't deny that. You're an underdog all your career, and you finally did it. But I'm sorry to say, man, your time is going to be short. Because at Fall Brawl, I'm going to kick your ass, and I'm going to take my place at the top of this business by winning the World Heavyweight Championship. And honestly, it's not going to be that much of an effort." Rey fires back and says, "That's what every opponent has said about me, Palumbo. That I'm going to be nothing, that I'm nothing to stain on the carpet, all that fun stuff. But every time, I beat the odds. So, Chuck, get ready. You want to think it's a fight of my life? Well, it's going to be the fight of your life to take this title off of my waist after I've done so much to earn it." So there's a stare down, and big match. Chuck Palumbo versus Rey Jr. for the championship at Fall Brawl. overall for our show, we got a 89. Okay, good stuff. And we'll see what we got as far as like the show goes. I did go in as we and like fix some stuff as far as stables and who was on each show, just because like of course the games didn't know any better. And we'll see what they do as far as that goes. It'll be interesting to see. As we move forward, let's see how this goes. All right, Revolution. Let's see here. That's interesting stuff. Fourth Junior's in WC. Okay. Takagi staying with Dragon Gate. I mean, he did in real life. Tricia Skye. Oh, Shelton Benjamin thinks Tricia Skye thinks Shelton Benjamin has charisma. I mean, yes. So independent wrestling from San Francisco. I'm just interested. I mean, Shane Balor's not bad, but he's also Shane Balor. American Wild Child, on the other hand, could be interesting. Candice Michelle exists, and she's doing random indie matches. That is not what she would really do, but okay. And then we have these regens. Interesting. Again, I always feel like sometimes I should go in and maybe like add some indie company just for each region, just so there's more wrestling going on, but you know, maybe not. Anyway, so storyline wise, here we're at. Against the Darkness is at a 66. Chosen Backgrounds is at an 80. Cruiser Stuff's at a 55. Evolution of Mystery is at a 70. Mayhem Showdown's at a 90 still. Top Guy Stuff's at an 92. Ryan Chavo Gutherkins at a 72. And Advocates at an 89. Disease or Disorder's at a 73. Helping Your Understudy's at a 65, even though that still might be over. Joanie's Back at an 87. Noble Strikes Back at a 56. New Rivals as an 85. Oh yeah, Booker and Cash, I'm sure, had some BS going on in their match as well. Revolution Rising is at an 84. Rey Jr.'s Revenge is at a 90, which I'll put Palumbo in a minute. Taking the properties back, the tag title feud's at a 78. So there we go. If we go over to WCW, I mean, not WCW, but WWE, they had SmackDown, and SmackDown had Benoit and Angle doing a promo, Al Snow defeating Basher, Ivory and Love defeating Outangel, Obscurva, and Shaniqua. Of course, that's how they would book it, unfortunately. We had Devon DuBois defeating Grandmaster Sexy. We had John JBL and Street Suburbs defeating Randy Orton and Little Fellas. Okay. Scott Hall defeated Val Venis in the Tables match. And the main event was Taker and Jericho defeating Benoit and Angle in 99. Because, of course, yeah, I can still do that. So that's interesting. Let's see here. So, yeah. Oh, right. So for our Death Feds, NWA Wildside TV, had Austin Creed doing a job, Matt Cross and JC Daz beat Dagan Britt and Suzuki. Yeah, Suzuki's up, Matt Cross up 61, Suzuki's only at 53. Lazarus and Cassidy and Jimmy Ray defeated Onyx, Rick Michaels, and Rainman did by DQ. Jason Cross defeated Adam Ortiz in a 66. So that was the TV show. Then for the Wookiee House show, it's a little more wacky as Rainman defeated Brett Rager by DQ. Dagon Bride's Kurt Stallings and Ken Suzuki defeated Austin Creed, Yuki, and Kinyo Amogi. A bunch of people, some of them we don't have a contract with. Then a whole bunch of like title matches, as we had Otsuka retained the NWA Junior Heavyweight title as CK-Men, defeating Matt Cross and Ryan Drago. We had Adam Ortiz winning the Georgia Junior Heavyweight title, defeating Cassidy and Onyx. Not sure all these guys are actually junior heavyweights, but sure. We had Akabona retaining the NWA National Heavyweight Championship, with Lazarus and Tony Jones defeating Suicidal Tendency for the NWA World Tag Team titles. Maybe Wild Tag Team titles. Maybe that means one of them signed for a major company. Jimmy Rave then defeated Jason Cross to retain the NWA Wild Side Championship. If we go to our Women's Death Fed, they had their weekly show, which had Cindy Rogers defeat Tracy Taylor. We had Madison Eagles and ODP, and Michelle McCool defeating Charlotte Chambers, Emi Sakura, and Amazing Kong. Let's see here. None of these women are quite ready, even though I could do something if they got brought up. Madison Clare defeated Portia Perez. Becky Bayless defeated Miss Molly in a tables match. And Ariel defeated Mori Hosaka to retain the NWQ title. And then we had for their ladies' night, for a little under 3,000 people, with Ariel defeat Michelle McCool to retain the title. Madison Clare defeated Miss Molly. Becky Bayless defeated Cindy Rogers. And yeah, other interesting stuff. If we go to the HWA, for our other weekly show, we had Fally Bala defeated Andre Scher in a battle of a regen versus a undercard guy. Dustin Lee defeated Silas Young. Jimmy Jacobs, Corey Castle, and Sean Devar defeated Darren Corbin, Jorge Estrada, and Barry Bradburn. And a variety of people there. Rikishi and Page defeated Excalibur and Daniel Rodimer. And we had Ray Steele defeated Matt Striker for the HWA Heavyweight Championship, which is interesting. And then if we go to OVW, they had for their weekly loop, their last one, we had Rory Fox defeat John Cena, Too Tough Tony defeated John Morrison, Sean Casey defeated Insane Dragon, Riptide Taylor defeated Velez and Chambers, Shaggy Joe defeated Mitch Page, the A Squad defeated Disciples of Sin, sure, Charlie Haas drew with Rob Conway, Trent Baker defeated Joey Matthews, Lizzie Borden defeated Miss Natural, and Danny Dore defeated Steve Bradley. And then for their Saturday show, we had Shaggy Joe defeating Charlie Haas, Mafia defeated Too Tough Tony in an I Quit match, Lizzie Borden defeated AJ Sparks to retain the Divas title, Rob Conway drew Chuck Taylor, and he defeated Joey Matthews by DQ, and Steve Bradley, Mitch Page defeated Trent Baker and Joey Ryan, and then in a 70, Danny Doran defeated Daniel Peter. So there we go, fun stuff. And let's see here. Had some big shows here, so this is the easiest way to do it, because it's always easiest to just do it via the match. So we go all the way back to last week's Revolution, which was, there we go. Okay, so of course CCW had a big show, which I showed you guys. Michinoku Pro had a big show. We had, okay, this is kind of amazing. So Tiger Mask 4 and Akira defeating Shinya Makabe and Dick Togo. A little bit strange, but still totally possible. Wataru Inoue defeated Shinsei Sasaki. I mean, honestly, that's probably a match that happened in Japan at this time. Then we get a little more wacky as the Great Suzuki defeated Bruce Beefcake. Yes, this is where Brother Brutai ended up. Is wrestling in Mini Joku Pro against Great Suzuki, who of course on a handshake deal because he's like the owner of the booker, I forget which. Then we had Hideki Nishida and Chad Collier defeated Kid Guzman and Tsuki Michuki for the tag titles. So yeah, very weird people there. Tags. Let's see here. AAA had a big show. So they had Valente Fernandez and Pirotio defeat Tony River and Super Minico. We had Conan Sabu defeat Joe Leiter and Antonio Cortez in a tables match. So that's where Conan Sabu ended up. They went back to AAA. We had Olympico, Pietro, and Super Jr. defeated Kagata 3 and the Urban Gladiators, who I believe are El Gargano Hysteria. Or Hysteria and Jim Nadhart. Yeah, Jim Nadhart has a role with AAA in this. Original Reality, we had the Syndicate of Charlie Manson, Phantasma, and Perro Aguayo Jr. defeat Angel Azteca, Silver King, and El Texano in a 78. We had Omega Squad defeating the Winning Combination. So interesting stuff there. We had Volordo Jr. Brute Force defeat La Parker 2, Felino, and Super Calo Jr. So Cuervo, Oz, and Volador defeated these guys. Volador Jr. had the best, 78. Then we had Hector Garza defeated Vampire Warrior in a First Blood match, which was a 90 for the AWA, for the, no, it's just a First Blood match. So there you go. Hector Garza getting a 100. Jesus Christ. Okay. I didn't realize Hector Garza was that great, and Vampire Warrior got a 64. Then we had Hell's Roar defeated Mascara Sagrada in a ladder match for the Mexican National Middleweight title in an 82. Congratulations. Samarnaco defeated Blue Jim Jr. in a cell match in a 95. That 95 was based on charisma, not on inward work. Then in main event, Juventud Guerrera defeated El Canek in a cage match in an 89. Hui's a big-time star here in this version of AAA. Let's see here. What else? Ladies' Night, Osaka Pro, MLW had a big show. Ultra Boy Luke defeated Ruckus. It was a match. Ron Harris and AC Connor, a.k.a. D'Lo Brown, defeated the wildcard of Luke Hawx and Bex Quartermain and Edward Windsor and Chaos. Sure. Glacier and Kev Northcutt defeated Robert Gibson and Tex Salinger. Thatcher in a DS match. Jerry Lynn defeated Johnny Grunge. Simon Diamond, Adam Jacobs, and Shannon Beller defeated Violent J, David Flair, and Les. So yes, a member of Inside Clown Posse, David Flair, and a guy who basically did like a Britney Spears gimmick as a guy. That was the match. Got a 57, which wasn't bad. Let's see here. And NBW, which is a indie fed that created. It's in the Great Lakes. Doug Basham versus Trailer Park Trash. And Damaja versus Dale Porter Demon was your main event there. And yeah, I think that's about it. And then, oh yeah, this was the other big thing is the G1 Climax was the same night at SummerSlam. So, lots of matches. Let me see if I can figure out the actual booking here. Got a Liger. Okay. Got a Liger, Hase McGinnis. Okay. So, for the actual tournament, which was an 8-man tournament, we had Hase defeated Murakami in a 69, Nagata defeated Sakuraba in 83, Liger defeated Chris Hero in 85, and then Nigel McGuinness defeated Manu Nakanishi in 77. We had Ken Shamrock defeating Chris Candido, Riki Shoshi defeating Shinsei Sasaki, Trono defeating Super J, and then we had Liger defeating Nigel in a semifinal in 95, Nagata defeating Hase in 73, we had Sasaki retaining the IWGP Heavyweight title in 79 over Bam Bam Bigelow, and the main event, Jushin Liger won the G1 Climax defeating Nagata in 85. Fun show, something New Japan would never do, but still interesting. And also, Gaia had a big show. Let's see, what's of note? Miyazaki defeated Karu in a 66. Momo Nakanishi defeated Miho Wakizawa in a 77. Toyota Inoue defeated Ito and Kuisuke in an 84. And the main event was Hikaru Fukuoka defeating Sokata Kano in a 79. And yeah, that's about it of note. Haley Hatred is still there in wrestling. So there we go. Let's see here. Any other big shows? Any other big shows I want to show you guys? Nope, that's about it. Yeah. So, interesting stuff going on in the world. We got WWE. Just as a quick note, for WWE, they did their brand split. So, I'll show you guys who's on Raw and who's on Nitro real quick. So, for no brands, I just went in and put all the champions as no brand. We'll see if the game changes that. But for Raw, on the male side, we have Albert, Batista, Big Show, Brock Lesnar, Christian, Chucky T, Cody Hawk, Crash Holly, DDP, who is permanently turned face, Earl Hebner, Howard Finkel, Jim Cornette, Kane, Mark Henry, Matt Classic, Maven, Dick Dinsmore, Rhino, Rikishi, Robbie C, who's teaming with Chucky T as a team, Steve Bradley, who's also another guy who's come up, Steve Richards, Test, Tommy Dreamer, Triple H, Vampiro, Vince McMahon, Viscera, William Regal, and X-Pac, X-Pac is in Regen, and Rehab, and Triple H is gone, so they're not part of the show. And then if we look at the females on the show, we got Amber James, Cherry Slice, Deborah, Jimmy Keys, Jillian Hall, Molly Holly, and Taylor Matheny. So if we go to SmackDown real quick, and we go to men, we have Al Snow, Basher, Blue Boy, Charlie Haas, who's a call-up, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Christian York, CM Punk, Devin Dubois, Edge, Ekmo, who's a call-up, Funaki, Grandmaster Sexy, Hardcore Holly, Joey Matthews, who's a call-up, JBL, Justice, Just Incredible, Chemo, Kurt Angle, Lance Cade, Mick Foley, who's a part-time worker, Randy Orton, Scott Hall, Scott Steiner, Skyfall, Caleb Lyon, Spike Dudley, Taz, who's an occasional worker and mostly color guy, The Undertaker, and Val Venus. So we'll see how that do. I've kept all the events as no brands, so we'll just see how they do as far as that goes. But yeah, that's the show. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like, comment below on what you're liking and not liking, and so much for playing over TEW 2020 content. I'm going to try to get another Ring of Honor show up this week, and possibly another Journey of Wrestling show. We'll just have to see, and who knows what else might pop up. But that's for now, so talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.